Welcome back to Birds of a Feather. This is your daily Baltimore sports podcast. My name is Nathan Stroud, and today we're going to be going over and talking about something related to the Orioles, which is very, very important. They came out today, and we're also going to be talking about a little bit of Ravens training camp updates. We got a few updates for y'all. It wasn't a super long training camp. It wasn't a ton of stuff going on from all the reports that we got, but there is some stuff that I do want to go over from Ravens training camp, a couple of plays regarding rookie Malachi Starks, and also Lamar Jackson and DeAndre Hopkins as well. So we're going to go over that later on in this episode. But first, I want to talk about the brand new, updated top 30 Orioles prospect list. The top 30 prospects for every single team and the top 100 overall prospects did get updated today, where they added all of the rookies from this past draft. So we're going to go over that right now. So going over the Orioles' new top 30 prospect list, and there was quite a few names that was added to this list, some people that shifted around. The people that moved down the list weren't necessarily not like their fault or whatever. It was more of the fact that just someone else came in and took the spot because of a rookie. But going over this top 30 Orioles prospect rankings, as you can see, there are quite a few rookies on this list, and as we know, the Orioles had one of the best overall drafts in this past draft for the MLB. They had 4 first-round picks. All 4 of those 4 first-round picks all land in the top 10 of this Orioles new prospect rankings. And as I said, the Orioles hit a home run on every single one of their first-round picks they had. Obviously getting Vihoa Aloy, getting Ike Irish, getting Slater DeBrun, and getting Caden Bodine. Getting all of those guys, obviously Aloy won the Golden Spikes Award. Slater DeBrun was one of the prospects with some of the highest ceiling and most potential in the entire draft in general. Ike Irish was one of the best bats in college baseball last year. And then Caden Bodine was the best catcher in all of college baseball last year. So the Orioles, for where they were picking, they ended up hitting a home run. Obviously, we know Mike Elias has been incredible at drafting and picking up talent through the draft. His problem has obviously been free agency and trade deadline stuff. But going over this new prospect ranking list, and again, with everything going on with the Orioles season, with how disappointing that it's been, with how embarrassing it's been, with how just overall, pathetic even that this Orioles season has been. There's been some positives. Guys like Jackson Holliday, guys like, obviously, Trevor Rogers, guys like Kobe Mayo recently as well. So there has been some positives in this Orioles season, but there's obviously been a lot of negatives. But the Orioles do have a day off today. There's no Orioles baseball today. They continue that tomorrow against the Mariners. But going out and looking at this top 30 prospect list and seeing all of the rookies get added to this top 30 list, it does kind of like bring a sense of calmness and kind of like certification that things are going to be okay with the Orioles moving forward into the future. Obviously, you have guys like Samuel Basallo and Dylan Beavers who are going to get called up to the MLB probably within the next 6 days or so. The expectation is that they could potentially play their first baseball game either this Friday first MLB game this Friday or Saturday. I'm pretty sure it would actually be on Saturday because the 15th is when you can call people up and not have it affect their service time. And obviously, Basallo and Beavers, both of those guys are going to be extremely important parts of the future with this Orioles team. And we don't want to mess up their service time. And we didn't also want to rush anything as well. I think that they have done a good job, and for as much as I think a lot of people was complaining about them not being called up with all the catcher stuff going on and not calling up Basallo, and recently with all of the outfielder stuff going on and not calling up Beavers, I think that this obviously is the right thing to do, because when you trade Ramon Laureano, when Tyler O'Neill's on IL all season, pretty much the entire year going on and off, with Colton Cowser also now on the concussion list, Cedric Mullins gone as well. You look at all these outfielders, like if you look at the outfielders in opening day and now, it is literally an entirely different story, either from trade or from injury. And Dylan Beavers is the best Orioles outfielder in their prospect list, one of the best outfielders in all of minor league, all of AAA baseball this year. And he's also been one of the best players in AAA this year. Dylan Beavers, someone who would 100% have a more certified role for the Orioles if they do get called up this Friday or Saturday. and they would play in that Astro series. I'm sure that's what we're trying to do. Mike Elias has even said that he plans on seeing Basayo and Beavers this year. I literally do not know why you would not want to call them up and see them. And if they do only decide to call up one, I do think it'll be Beavers just because of the position. Basayo obviously plays catcher and first base, but he's been playing a lot more first base recently. But at first base right now, you have Kobe Mayo pretty much playing it all the time, and then you have Ryan Mountcastle as well, and then obviously you have Adley at catcher. So for the most part, if Basayo does get called up, he would pretty much be playing full-time DH or maybe like a rotational first baseman. But Dylan Beavers, he can play left, center, and right in the outfield. So he would have a way more certified role and be like an instant starter right now with this the way that the outfield is looking right now for the Orioles. But going over this top 30 list, obviously you have Samuel Basayo sitting at number 1. We might be seeing him very, very, very soon. And then at number 2, you have the Orioles' first round pick that they had this year. Obviously they had pick, I think, 19, 31, 32, and 39. And with pick 19, the Orioles went and got Ike Irish, who went... they went out and got Ike Irish. And Ike Irish was a center fielder, but he wasn't even a center fielder. He was a left fielder, but he also played catcher. The Orioles are not going to use him as a catcher. He's going to be a full-time outfielder for the Orioles, hopefully moving forward into the future. But Ike Irish, one of the best players in college baseball this year, one of the best bats in college baseball this year as well. His defense isn't necessarily anything crazy. He's really going to have to truly learn the outfielder position because he played quite a bit of catcher in college, but he played catcher and outfield. He can play both. And honestly, the catcher, aspect of him was not the reason why we drafted him. It was more of his bat being so good. Ike Irish had a super high average. He had quite a lot of home runs. But Ike Irish is number 2 on the top prospects for the Orioles, even above Dylan Beavers. And again, these prospect rankings are going to change quite a bit because, again, this is based off of potential. If you go over to the top 100 prospects, Jackson Holliday's brother, Ethan Holliday, is already at 17 out of the top 100 prospects in baseball. But that's just based off of potential. It's based off of potential of what they could do in their career. And obviously with Ike Irish and all these other rookies and stuff like that being in rookie ball right now, they have to go rookie ball, low A, high A, single A, double A, triple A. There is a lot of steps to get to the major leagues, and this is just the beginning for these guys, and you kind of like to keep track of players and see how they progress throughout your farm. Guys like Vance Honeycutt, for example, who was drafted by the Orioles last year in the low 20s. He was considered one of the biggest steals of the draft, but whenever he kind of got to doing what he was doing out in high A, where even is Vance Honeycutt right now? Yeah, he's in high A right now. So when you look at guys like that, Vance Honeycutt struggles a lot with strikeouts. He struck out an abnormal amount of times, but recently he's really been on fire, and he could potentially be promoted very, very, very soon. Some players take longer in certain levels of the farm system than others, and I would definitely encourage y'all to take a look at, even if you're not an Orioles fan, just to take a look at your team's farm system, because the farm system in baseball is such an interesting thing. There's so many different layers, so many different levels to it, and certain players spend different amount of times in it. Some players will breeze through it, get to the majors very quickly. Guys like Jackson Holliday did that. Jackson Holliday breezed through minor league baseball, got to the majors just the year after he got drafted, and he's a beast. So it's kind of like that. But Ike Irish is a new guy on this list. He is number 2 for the Orioles on their top 30 prospects. Dylan Beavers is at 3, Enrique Bradfield's at 4, and then Wahiwa Aloy is sitting at number 5. Obviously the Golden Spikes winner in college baseball this past year. He was awarded the best player in college baseball this past year. He's 21 years old. He's a shortstop. We're going to continue to play him at shortstop. I don't know what they're going to do with him. But again, you also have to think about it from this point of view. A lot of these guys and a lot of these rookies that we got, guys like Wahiwa Aloy, obviously we all expect Gunnar Henderson to be the franchise shortstop for a very, very, very long time. But the thing with prospect rankings and all of that is there's a lot of times where either in the offseason or during the trade deadline that a lot of these guys will get traded. For example, if you go and look at the Padres farm system from what it looked like before the deadline. They had one of the best farms in all of baseball, and then they traded pretty much their entire farm to the Orioles and to the Athletics. And now their farm system isn't looking too great, but they ended up getting guys like Mason Miller and Ramon Laureano and Ryan O'Hearn, and they're out there winning baseball games and in a win-now mode. The Orioles are in a position, obviously, to spend a lot of money this offseason to go and really sign anybody that they want, but the Orioles have such a strong farm right now with guys like, Enrique Bradfield Jr. and Dylan Beavers and Basayo, I think, are going to be mainstays of this Orioles team. But even guys like Wahiwa Aloy or Slater DeBrun or someone like that, like the Orioles can trade guys that they don't think is going to have a crazy big future with us and trade them for win-now talent, much like what we did last year during the trade deadline. We traded Cal Stowers and we traded Connor Norby over to the Marlins because we knew that they weren't going to have a mainstay with this team. Obviously, looking back at that trade, both teams kind of won. Cal Stowers is looking like the franchise player for the Marlins. He's having an incredible year. Shout out to him. But Trevor Rogers is also having an incredible year for the Orioles. So it really was a win-win trade for both teams. But when you look at the Orioles, they are in a position to, again, sign anybody that they want and trade for really anybody that they want because they have such high-rated prospects. And just maybe not in terms of top-heavy talent, top-heavy talent farm, but a super, super deep farm, which makes them one of the best farms in baseball. Because, again, the Orioles, if you look at the top 100 prospect rankings, the Orioles only have one top 100 prospect, and that is Samuel Basayo, who is sitting at number 8 on the top 100 prospect list. They don't have any other top 100 prospects, but a lot of these guys are super, super high rated, and a lot of these rookies are also super high rated and can skyrocket up the top 100 rankings. And I would not be surprised to see someone like Wahiwa Aloy or Ike Irish or Slater DeBrun be in the top 100, over the next year or so. To be honest with you, it just depends on how they do in the farm system and in minor league baseball. But another guy that is here in the top 100 is in the top 30, is number 6, Slater DeBrun. Slater DeBrun, he's an 18-year-old outfielder, one of the highest potentials in all of the draft. The Orioles were able to land him. The reason why he kind of fell in the draft is because he was a very hard Vanderbilt commit. He was expected to go to Vanderbilt and be one of the best players on the team, arguably the best player on the team. And Slater DeBrun had one of the highest overall, potentials in this draft. And he ended up falling to the Orioles in the late first round. And we got him, and he signed with the Orioles, and he's not going to Vanderbilt, not going to college. He's committing to rookie ball, and he's already number 6 on our top 100 prospect rankings, which is really, really cool to see. Obviously, you've got Nate George in there, who's been incredible down in Single A. Boston Bateman, who we got from the Padres, who is the highest-rated Padres prospect that we got. He's a pitcher. He's been killing it in Single A. Someone who has real potential to be a real mainstay piece in a potentially playoff rotation for a playoff team eventually in the future. Boston Bateman could 100% be a potential really big mainstay in an Orioles rotation here in the next 4 years or so. But it's something to look forward to. And then at number 10, this is the last one that I really want to highlight. At number 10 on the Orioles top 30 new updated top 30 prospects. At number 10, we have Caden Bodine, who was the best catching prospect in baseball. He's known for his framing. He went viral on the internet for his framing and how he framed stuff and how good of a framer he was, catcher framing workouts and all that stuff. So Caden Bodine is here at number 10 on the Orioles top 30 prospects. So Caden Bodine, Slater DeBrun, Wahiwa Aloy, and Ike Irish. All 4 of the Orioles' first-round picks all land in the top 10 prospects. All land in the top 10 prospects for the Baltimore Orioles, which is crazy. You have Basayo, you have Irish, you have Beavers, you have Bradfield Jr., you have Aloy, you have Slater DeBrun, you have Mija, you have George, you have Bateman, and you have Bodine. All of those guys are the Orioles' top 10 prospects. And when you look at top 10 prospects like that, they are very much considered very highly, coveted. these are guys that if the Orioles do decide to trade, they're going to want to get a lot back for. So very, very big list. You obviously got other rookies like Colin Yeaman and Joseph DeRosa, and you've also got JT Quinn down here at number 28. Wellington Arancina, he is someone who came from the Mets in that Gregory Soto trade. But when you just look at this overall, you even got Vance Honeycutt down here at 18. So when you look at this overall prospect rankings, a lot of these guys are, homegrown Orioles. Some of them came from the Padres, some of them came from the Mets, some of them came from the Blue Jays, or one of them came from the Blue Jays, a couple from the Mets, quite a few from the Padres, and obviously from the draft, and then the rest are from the draft and from international signings and stuff like that. But it is going to be very, very interesting to see how we move on throughout all of this, because it's very interesting to see how all of this is going on with the Orioles. The new prospect rankings is like actually crazy to see. It's super cool to see all of these rookies be put so highly and so highly rated in this prospect rankings. So moving forward, the Orioles are going to be fine. We understand this. I think a lot of us agree that they just need like new, management, new general management, just a front office, whatever it is. That there's the Orioles are really like a treasure chest of talent. It's really a jackpot when you look at the team currently, you look at the guys that they have right now, and you also look at this farm system. I feel like any manager would be lucky to kind of manage this team into the future, and that's going to be Mike Elias or whoever the general manager come this offseason's job to figure out what's going to happen with this team. But we know that this Orioles team has talent now and moving forward. Let's just see how they do managing it all. But the last thing that I want to go over in today's episode is a couple of updates from Ravens training camp. And the first one is about Malachi Starks, who actually picked off Lamar Jackson in the end zone today. He was looking for Keith Kirkwood in the red zone. 2 dropbacks later, Marlon Humphrey broke up a sure-thing touchdown pass from Lamar to Zay Flowers in the back of the end zone. Not a lot of explosives today. At the time, as Jonas Schaefer was saying, he's someone who works for the Baltimore Banner. Shout out to him. With these, reports and everything like that. Malachi Starks did pick off Lamar Jackson today in the end zone, so that's nice to see from your rookie. Obviously, we understand Malachi Starks has a ton of potential, a ton of talent for this Ravens team, and someone who's going to be a mainstay next to Cal Hamilton for years to come. As long as we get Cal Hamilton back on contract, which hopefully will happen within the next couple of weeks before the season starts, but we just have to sit back and wait. But Malachi Starks picks off Lamar Jackson. Marlon Humphrey broke up a touchdown. The defense out there doing its thing today. Obviously, Malachi and Marlon Humphrey making some big plays. Not really a ton of explosive plays happening as of right now, but a little bit later, we got word that Lamar Jackson just ended a 2-minute drill with a 40-yard touchdown pass to DeAndre Hopkins down the sideline. Ravens had about 29 seconds left. Lamar trusted that D-Hop would be wide open. Not wide open. Lamar trusted that Hopkins would beat Nate Wiggins on a one-on-one. Hopkins did, and Wiggins never turned his back. Maybe DeAndre Hopkins' biggest play in camp. Also, yesterday, DeAndre Hopkins was talking about how him and Lamar's chemistry has gotten a lot better. So that's obviously very nice to see. It's very cool to see that Lamar and DeAndre Hopkins has been cooking and have been doing their thing. And again, DeAndre Hopkins has had a ton of different quarterbacks in his career, so he knows how to adjust when it comes to a new quarterback. A new quarterback for him at least. And Lamar Jackson found him for a 40-yard touchdown. That's very nice to see. I cannot wait to see what DeAndre Hopkins' impact that he makes on this team. Again, I've said this a million times. He's not going to go out there and get like 150 yards a game. He's not going to be an 1,000-yard receiver this year. But he is going to be someone who Lamar can go to and just trust in a reliable one-on-one situation, trust in the end zone, or just trust to make a first down grab. That's what DeAndre Hopkins is here for, and it looks like he did that today with a big 40-yard touchdown catch. One-on-one, beat Nate Wiggins one-on-one. Obviously, Nate Wiggins is an incredible corner. Last season, he played great. He still has some things to work out, but he still is a great corner, very quick corner, and it's nice to see that DeAndre Hopkins was able to beat him one-on-one in this practice. And that's going to be all for this episode of Birds of a Feather. If you like this content, make sure to subscribe on YouTube and follow up. And make sure to subscribe on YouTube and follow up on Spotify. And also make sure to like the video as well on YouTube. And also click the link in the bio of whatever platform you're listening on to follow the Instagram and the Twitter. I post live updates on everything going on Twitter, so make sure to give that a follow. Anything Baltimore sports related, I post live updates on that. Thank you guys again for all the support. There was no Orioles game today. Wasn't a ton of Ravens news, but I did want to go over the new top 30 prospect rankings for the Orioles and also a couple of updates from Ravens training camp tomorrow. And then tomorrow, the Orioles are back, and they do play tomorrow against the Mariners. So we're going to have an episode up talking about that. And then we're also going to talk about any sort of Ravens news that comes out as well. So, and with football season coming back very, very, very soon, with the regular season starting soon, obviously preseason going on right now, there's a ton of updates when it comes to Baltimore sports, and this is the best place to be for that info and analysis and all of that stuff. So I'll see you guys in the next one. I'll see you guys tomorrow. You have a great sales day. Go O's, go Ravens, and I'll see y'all tomorrow. Peace out.